The weather outside is cold. The liquor, she warms my soul. All day I've been getting high.
We keeping that. That was so funny. How we keeping that? What do you want? How are ya?
Oh man. Well, here we are. 1v1. James Macklin. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing, Drake?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing great, doing phenomenal.
Excited to have you, bro.
Yes, sir.
I feel like this one is also a bit overdue. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that you got going on.
Yes, sir.
I feel like the world should know about.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna give it to them.
All right.
So let's just take it slow, man. How you doing? You all right? What's good with you?
Man, I'm doing good. Back on that grind.
Yeah.
Back working, back in the real estate full time, back in the barbering full time.
So you out there with it?
Yeah.
Real estate agent, barber, comedian, entrepreneur. How do you do it all?
Man, the drive. Like the drive I done had since I was young, listening to Kobe Bryant, R.I.P. Kobe. Listening to Kobe Bryant and just how he was so passionate about what he did, trying to be the best. So, man, that's all I've been trying to do, being the best version of myself.
Yeah. And so you say you started young. Let's dive into that for a minute. So you're not actually from Missouri?
No, I am from Missouri. Yeah, born and raised.
What part?
I'm not from Cape.
Right.
But I'm in the Boo Hill, the real Boo Hill. Homestown, Missouri. Homestown, Missouri.
Where is that?
It's in between the Wardell exit and the Hayti exit on I-55 in the country.
So you're from, let's just say, the southernmost part of the state.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up?
Man, it was, I would say it was rough, but it was more boring than it was rough. Where I grew up, it was a super small town, only had like 200 people in it. So we was around other towns that only had 5,000 people. So we just a bunch of isolated little towns around. Man, you had to drive everywhere. So when you're in the town, you in the town. So you can't, you can't do nothing really but be creative. And that was, all I did was play basketball and draw.
So you're in this condensed area. Oh, so many people. Everybody has to know everybody.
For sure.
How did that shape the drive that you developed going into your childhood, into your adolescent years?
Well, my parents are from Memphis.
Yeah.
So I used to, my dad loved traveling. So he always had us traveling. We always went back to Memphis, visit family, stay there for the summer. So I was actually experiencing the city life on one end and experiencing the rural area on the other end. So when I went to like Memphis or something, I seen what the possibilities was, where it could be, and then how big stuff could get. And I was like on a mission to make my name as big as I could get it possibly. So when I came back to a small town, I was like, well, since I'm here, it's basically just a grind place. I just supposed to just grind, and wait my turn until I can be in the world. And then by the time the world hits me, I'll be able to come back and be like, this is where I came from.
Yeah.
So.
High school. At this point, you know who you are, or at least who you want to be in the near future. You graduate high school. What's next for you?
During high school, I was only focused on basketball. So my drive was going straight to the NBA. So after high school, all I was thinking about was college, playing basketball in college. I ended up playing at Three Rivers Community College at that point, not Three Rivers College, under the famous Gene Best, which is the most winningest coach in college history.
Wow.
So ended up playing under him, and that was all my focus was trying to just get better each year, and it was just a new challenge. Like I came in, a new guy from a small town, and all these dudes mostly from Memphis, St. Louis, and I'm from this country town, walk on. So I had to come prove myself, make a name, but also show like that I knew exactly where I came from, and I knew I wasn't going backwards. So it was just more about grinding to go forward.
Did walking into the gym knowing I'm from this small town and these odds are against me, but I've been shaped and molded so much to where that doesn't even affect me, I'm gonna go out and play my game. Was that the approach you took?
Definitely. I didn't know that I wasn't gonna have control as much as I thought I would have, because in my mind I was thinking like, well, as long as I play hard, work hard, then I will get the results. But it really didn't work like that, because you still had coaches that had to put you in the game and take you out the game whenever they wanted to.
Yeah.
So that was hard to adjust, and I'm still adjusting to that now as a man. I'm still adjusting to not being able to control everything that life might throw at you. But yeah, that definitely, I still had that same mindset of just work hard and, you know, I'll reap the benefits later.
And so you had 3 rivers, you hooping. What happened with it?
I ended up getting in trouble. I ended up getting in, I was actually doing pretty good. Ended up, you know, starting to climb up the ladder. Got a starting position. But then after the season was over with, usually most guys, they slack up on grades and stuff.
Yeah.
And me being from a small town, I didn't have that much money, and I was a walk-on, so I didn't have any scholarships. I didn't have meals and stuff paid for. So I resorted to street mentality and ended up getting in trouble for stealing out of Walmart. Got kicked off the team. So after that, I went straight thug mode. I was like, I don't care about the basketball, I don't care about the team, I don't care about nothing. I'm gonna go to the next school. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up just transferring to another school.
And what was that?
I transferred to a school called Mid-Continent University, which was actually shut down the year after I went there.
Yeah.
Went there for a whole year, shut down.
While you're a student?
Yep. While I'm a student.
So now you gotta find another school to go to.
Yep.
Which brings you...
Landed me and Kate.
Yes, sir.
At SEMO. Landed, I said, man, I'm going back home then. Forget it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you get here, you're obviously still in street mode.
Yeah, 100%.
Entering adulthood at the time.
Yeah.
Talk about the challenges of essentially having to get by on your own at this point.
Man, at that point, I was down and out. Like, I was at the lowest that I've been before. So, like, I was at the lowest of low. So, the only thing I was thinking about was just trying to get back in school and get some money. 1, 2 things. So, end up trying to get back in school, and then guess what happened? I needed more money.
Yeah.
Like, I was on probation, I was on academic probation because, like I said, playing basketball, season's over. You don't care about grades no more. So now my grades, I would have like A's and B's first half of the semester. After that, D's and F's because I wasn't going to class, doing illegal things.
Yeah.
So I didn't have my head on straight. I was still 19, 20. So I'm thinking about girls and and partying. And I wasn't even thinking about school or the future. I was just like, man, if I just keep working in the gym, everything it'll play itself out. But once I got to Cape, I was just, trying to get money. I had to pay $750 every 2 weeks just to stay in school. So I said, what should I do?
Right.
And I resorted to, selling weed.
In addition to that, how else would you say you adapted in order to get to not only the point where you are now, but to where you can look back and say, this is how I adapted?
Man, one thing I adapted, I knew that my mindset was still there. I got to get it by any means, and I got to just keep moving forward. So going from selling drugs, selling anything I can get my hands on, making money. Once I got in trouble, I realized that I couldn't do certain things. I'm smart enough to know that I can't make the same mistake twice. So once I got in trouble, I was like, well, that's done. I gotta switch it up. So I went all in on school, all in at work, and trying to figure stuff out then. So, I just, kept me a job. Ended up getting grace from the judge, and he let me keep my financial aid. So after that was over, I finally got financial aid. I can actually, because my grades was up, I might have been selling drugs, but I was actually going to school. I was still grinding. So my grades was up. He let me keep my financial aid, and I end up, staying in school and working even harder because I was majoring in psychology. So I was like, well, this is something that can pay off later on, so why don't I just go, full head of steam just in school. So that's what I ended up doing, staying on my P's and Q's.
Yeah.
And then started just filling my mind with more positive stuff. So I started listening to Eric Thomas more, motivational speakers. I started listening to stuff that was telling you can do it, even though it might be hard at that point, because I never heard that unless it was from Kobe or something in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to hear somebody else actually doing it in school and not in, any other area.
So you back in school, you're doing your thing. You still hustling.
Yep.
A lot of guys do that, and they maybe feel like they doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them maybe feel like they're not doing enough.
Yep.
How were you able to navigate both, and what were the challenges of that?
So I knew that it was more of a, as Dave Chappelle said on Half-Baked, if you've never seen that movie,
Yeah.
I was a fundraiser. So I was like, well, this is supporting school. So when I really had that in my mind, like I was paying for school, I literally had to pay for school. So I was like, shoot, I can't blow this money. I really, in real life, had to pay for school $750 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was working at Dollar Tree and I was getting $300 every 2 weeks, working 40-hour shifts. So that's full time. I couldn't get no more money. I literally had to do the math, and I was like, well, I have no other choice. In my mind, I had no other choice, because I couldn't get a second job because I had school.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I was doing what it took, and then me balancing it, I was just like, man, once I get this financial aid going, I'll be good. I won't have to worry about this. I put this to the side. I won't do it no more, and that's what I ultimately did.
So it was the financial aid, kicking in, and that's what led you, okay, I don't have to hustle anymore, let me stop.
Well, actually, it was going to jail first, because I actually definitely went to jail.
Yeah.
Definitely got locked up, definitely got a good wake-up call, and I knew I had no choice but to actually go all in school or nothing else, because everything else is just going to lead me right back to trouble. So
At the time, you get jammed up.
Mm-hmm.
You're staying afloat.
Yep.
You making it happen for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Man, I got ratted on, man.
Yeah.
somebody, I guess they got in trouble, so they went to the next person that they knew they can, get jammed up, and I just happened to be that dude, and yeah.
So you were just a casualty.
Yeah, definitely.
They weren't even looking for you.
Nah.
Yet you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
You pay your debt to society. That's done with, and now you decide, you know what? No aspect of this life except for being is really what I'm trying to do. Let me switch this whole thing up.
Yeah.
What went into that decision?
Man, one, I had my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife. She ended up getting locked up with me, but I took the charge, so she definitely wouldn't be kicked out of school or anything. So that was one thing I was like, well, I can't have her out here just getting in trouble doing this. She actually on her stuff. So I'm like, well, I need to change as a man altogether. I need to grow all the way up real quick. So once I focused on just school and just knowing like I'm all the way in, 100% in, man, that just helped me stay focused on really the goal, and that was just to really graduate and figure something else after that.
Would you say getting jammed up was really the first major L that you took?
Yeah, definitely. Because not only I had to pay, while it was a lot that goes into it, but while I was after I got busted, I had to bum myself out. Parents did that, but I had to pay lawyer fees while I was going through all that to stay, to actually have a chance to stay in school, to be free. I worked at P&G through Manpower. Had to went through that real quick. Worked before they found out that I was on I was in trouble. So I did that, tried to pay the lawyer off. That was during that summer before I went back to school. So that whole summer I was just grinding to pay that stuff off just to stay afloat. And then after that I was just like, man, you got no choice. You got no choice. It was just the only positive result that I had or the positive goal that I had to go after, because at first it was just about the money to pay for school.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I got the money, so what you gonna do? So that was really the first real wake up call that I got, that I was like, all right, you gotta you got to change it up. And it's nothing to change up your plans or change up as long as you got the goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody thinks you got one straight path, but sometimes life hits you with a rock upside the head, and you either gonna fall down, you're gonna get back up, look around, and see where.
Yeah, I was I did some homework, and I asked around, how is James when he takes a L, and they say, oh, he's the absolute worst. You know what I'm saying? Life hit him in the head with a rock. He want to pick up the rock and say, who the fuck threw that? I'm about to get your ass back. Because I'm not taking no L's.
Yeah.
Do you apply that in every aspect of life?
Yeah, I do. And it's something that I try to, I guess, I try not to do as much anymore, and I try not to take everything so personal. Because sometimes I used to do that. I take it personal. I'm like, what you got against me?
Mm-hmm.
But it's really just, I'm playing the wrong game. I'm making the wrong moves. Games, it's chess. It ain't checkers. So it's like, if you playing checkers, you think you just gonna run around, do what you want to do, and you don't have, the powers that be have a position. They have stuff to do. So police is doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
The police is doing their job. It's my fault. Shoot, I was stealing, doing all this. Shoot. Anything that I did, I had to basically start holding myself accountable and just being like, all right, I'm gonna take it on the shoulder, take it on the chin, and just keep going now.
And so, the fact that you are so hard on yourself, you were able to take that energy, transform it into, instead of looking at this as an L, I'm gonna learn from this.
Yep.
Because it is chess.
Yep.
And you go and make one of the biggest chess moves anybody in this area has ever seen, and say, you know what? I'm about to pick up these clippers.
Yep.
And I'm gonna become a barber.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna be the best damn barber in Southeast Missouri.
Man, best barber in the world. I was going for best barber in the world.
You
still
feel me?
going for that.
What got you into that, and how would you say you've excelled at it to this point?
Man, I had really, it's like, I heard this quote before. Man, when you got your thumb out, and you on the side of the road, your car break down, nobody's trying to help you. But when you get out the car and you start pushing it yourself, everybody jump out that car and help you push. And that's real, cause when I first was here, I was already trying to cut my own hair. Like I had cut out trying to have a barber back in my old school because the barbers are unreliable. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, these guys ain't no businessman. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs, or hustlers, I would say, but still entrepreneurs in there, right? My dad used to cut hair. He used to cut my hair all the time. Until I started going to a barber when I got up in high school, because I wanted all different crazy haircuts because I was playing basketball. I wanted to look different. My mom is a beautician. She's actually has a cosmetology license, had her own shop right beside the house, so I always seen that. She was a candy lady. She had a soda machine outside. Like, I always seen different, ways to actually make money without having to be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So really, when I got to barbering, I was like, okay, I'm about to really start cutting people's hair, because I end up getting two clients, which is my boy Dave and my boy Deontay. End up meeting them in class one time. I was running late to class and ran up in there. These were the only two black guys in class. So I'm like, all right, bet they'll let me cut their hair, because I seen them, they look like they need a haircut.
Yeah.
And I'm like, college, need a haircut. I can do it, but I'm okay. I'm decent, because I already used to do lineups and stuff. So I'm like, I'm decent, but I can get way better through YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up cutting their hair one time, and they asked me how much I charged. I just threw a random price. I was just like $5, and they was like, oh, bet $5, that's nothing. And next thing you know, I came back the next day. I'm cutting, and they was in a frat. So I come back. I'm cutting like 6-7 heads in one day, and I was like, bro, I'm not even that good. Y'all ain't, wait till I get good. And that's all in my head. I was like, wait till I get good. I think I made $35 that night. Felt like a lot of money, which I knew it wasn't a lot, but I was like, I just made $35 cutting these dudes' hair. If I get better and I start charging $10, then I'll be making it, and then I can start charging $15. So the first thing I thought about doing was getting better clippers, because my clippers I had was Walmart. I was like, I need to get better clippers. I need to get some lighting, because these people's lights in their house, I can't even see when I really cut. So that really just gave me the drive, and it just clicked, like, this is something that nobody else is doing. I didn't see no other barbers at the school. I didn't hear about no other barbers.
Now you're charging $60.
No comment. No comment. Because when this come out, I might be charging 100.
105.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the growth has been extremely like powerful. It helped me like barbering was really the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. Like I went from cutting hair for $5 with $20 clippers. Then I added a new pair of clippers and people noticed it. And once I hear people notice everything, that's when I realize it's working. Like I get the new clippers and I start cutting. They're like, you got new clippers? Dang, I hear them things cutting. Dang, they cutting smooth. And I'm like, okay, so now I got the professional clippers. I need to up my game a little bit. So man, I went like that passion, that drive, bro, it took hold of me. Like I used to be up on YouTube till like 2 a.m, obsessed. I was straight obsessed, like literally waking up and watching YouTube videos all night long, just on fade, just on doing tapers, just on doing lineups and doing Caucasian hair. And I would just, man, I got so addicted to it. I was like, man, they ain't gonna know what hit them. I'm like, wait till I start getting better.
And we didn't, because you came onto the barber scene and took the campus and then eventually the town by storm. Yeah. I remember getting haircuts in my bathroom, by you, and then I remember in your kitchen. Next thing you know, I'm pulling up at the shop. I done made an appointment on the damn app that I never even knew existed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you were able to take that and parlay it into this network and this new and developed mindset of not only am I gonna cut hair, but if I can sell cuts, I can sell anything. I can sell houses.
Yeah. I
can link up with this guy who also sell cuts, and we can go off and try to sell water. It doesn't matter. And so that's what gave you the entrepreneur tag. That's what made you go out and get that real estate agent tag. How did something as what we see as simple as cutting hair turn into, okay, now I'm a barber, now I'm a real estate agent, now I'm an entrepreneur?
I was keeping tally of actually my reports of the month and how many cuts I was doing a week in a month, and then I just seen it grow, and I just kept seeing the numbers grow, and I was like, man, if this keeps growing, I can raise my prices. So really I just started seeing how it grew, and then what it took and the mindset that I had to have, and then that mindset took from having that, I started applying it in barber, and I started talking to all my clients. So when I started talking to my clients like that, they started looking at me like, man, you different. Like, what you do? I'm like, man, I've been reading books. I've been doing this. Started talking to different clients. They put me on books. Then they tell me about real estate, and one of my clients actually told me about how to get into real estate, because I was like, I read these books and they're talking about, real estate is the way to wealth. How do I get in it? And I was just trying to be an investor. And he told me like, hey, you should get your license, because then you'll learn it more. You'll learn more. You get in the game and you actually learn the stuff. So I'm like, okay. And then like what I was really on was this guy named Tony Robbins always talk about rapid application. So it's like you hear some information that is good for you and you apply it immediately. And I was on that heavy. So all the moves I made that was so fast and just so rapid, I literally was applying it. And I threw myself in there without even questioning it. I didn't question like, man, should I get my real estate license? I was like, okay, get your license. What does it take? He told me what it takes. Okay, you need $300 to get in your course. You need to take your course, then you gotta take your exam. After you take your exam, find your broker. And I was like, dang, okay, boom, I did it. Literally like in a week. Got on my courses, did it, invested in myself. Went through that whole process, and then, and actually once you start, like I said, you start pushing that car, people start helping you, man, I swear, it's like, I started doing it. Next thing you know, I find Jared Ritter. I see him on Facebook, and I'm like, who is this dude with this crazy blazers and stuff? He like me. He promoting himself, he marketing, he going crazy. I didn't even know he was one of the biggest real estate brokers / agents here in Cape. So I partnered up with him. Next thing you know, we had friends that were in cahoots. So I ended up going to a party, seen him, went right out, talked to him. And you know me, I'm very extroverted anyway, so I talk to anybody. It don't matter, and I'm funny, so I'll make you laugh before you think about fighting me. So I'm talking to him. I'm like, when you want to meet? I'm like, shoot, tomorrow in the morning. Like everything that I was doing it right away to let people know like I was serious. And just by having that mindset, it actually, helped me prepare to the next level, which I got my real estate license, and then, turned into the real estate barber.
So you're the real estate barber. Everybody knows you. you've established yourself to the point where whether it is real estate or being a barber, they recognize the name James Macklin to some capacity.
Yeah.
And now you feel like I done came a long way from hustling, long way from what would you call it? Homestown,
Missouri.
You know what I'm saying? And so at this point, you just doing you, and you decide, you know what? I'm gonna try my hand at stand-up comedy.
The company you keep, man. It's all about the company you keep.
Everybody I talk to, bruh's a natural. Bruh's hilarious. Dude is naturally funny. He didn't even have much to go off of during his first show, and it was great. With everything that you've been through in life, from growing up in a small town to trying to get it on your own to getting ratted on, how are you able to keep such an uplifted spirit to the point where you say, I'm gonna serve the people regardless of what happened to me, and now I'm gonna make y'all laugh?
Man, one, if you go back and look in my yearbook, I've always been this person. When I was a kid, I told people, because Michael Jordan was one of my first heroes, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, obviously, because Kobe Bryant, just the mindset went to another level. But man, I said I wanted to be like Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan played basketball and baseball. I said, man, I want to play in the NBA, in the NFL, in the MLB, and I wanted to play hockey, because I used to watch Rocket Power and they always play hockey. So I literally had a hockey stick. I played baseball in high school. I played basketball. I would have played every sport. I played every sport we had. We only had basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
I would have played football, but my dad wouldn't let me change schools. That's another story. So, like, you go back to my yearbook in high school, I'm the president of the class. I'm named voted class clown. I'm voted most likely to succeed. I'm voted best dressed. I'm like trying to knock out everything, and not saying that like in a braggadocious way. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but that's literally who I was. I was literally trying to see what I fit in, but everything that I try to do, I literally tried to be the best at it. And it just comes out like that. So when I'm already naturally funny.
Yeah.
So I've been goofy since I was little. So I'm like, I always love comedians. Cat Williams is my favorite comedian by far. And then Dave Chappelle, sorry Dave, but I go Cat Williams first because he's real and raw. So that made me, I always said that I was gonna be a comedian one day. I said I was gonna be in the NBA and I was gonna do comedy in the summertime. So on some Dame Dash. I mean, Damian Lillard. On some Dame Dollars type stuff.
And I talked to some people from your circle, and they all describe you as an overachiever.
Yeah, sometimes that's bad.
That was gonna be my question. What are the pros and cons of having that mindset?
Man, the pros having it is, man, you can be relentless. Like you will be almost unstoppable. Like a train where you going and you feel like you can't be stopped. But then again, you get to a point where you going and you feel like you are getting stopped, you're getting slowed down, and it can frustrate you a little bit. It can have you thinking like you're not moving fast enough. But I feel like I'd rather have that than not have it at all. So being an overachiever, I'm a perfectionist. I've done a personality assessment before, so I am a perfectionist, and that I gotta work on a little bit, because I can strive so hard that I push other people to be perfect, and then if they ain't perfect, I get agitated with, because I'm like, you don't want to be perfect. Don't everybody want to try to be perfect? But some people they comfortable. So I'm just one of those people that, like, anything that I do, I want to be the best at it and the best that ever done it, and then I want to try to pull everybody else to try to beat me. Like, I want to be like, look, beat me. And if they don't, I kind of get a little.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I get in a bully stage where I be like, okay, you don't want to be better than me? Bet. I'm gonna show you how better I am than you. And if that don't motivate you to get better, then
what will?
What will? So
and I'm not gonna keep you. I'm gonna use that. I appreciate you for coming, James Macklin. Yeah. Tell them where to find you. Tell them who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I want to say, one, I really appreciate Dre. Man, a.k.a. Young D.